Hi guys, so the next bit of genetics information is some things that we want to go through with you. The first thing that you guys should already have and kind of be working on is your genetics coloring. So it looks like this. The front page goes through Mendel, who in the introductory notes, you guys should remember was that father of genetics. He was the Austrian monk. He worked with pea plants. So that's what the first two pages is kind of showing you guys, is what he was looking at and his dominant and recessive traits. So when you guys go to that second page, the only notes that are really on here is showing you guys some difference in his pea plants between the dominant and recessive traits. So the first column of the traits are his dominant traits. The second column next to that are the ones that are recessive to that. So we kind of added in some letters. As we start to work our way through our genetics packet, which is the next thing I'm going to show you guys, if you see any problems that relate to pea pods or pea plants, you may have to relate back to this particular packet to see which trait is dominant and which trait is recessive if it is not given to you. The rest of the packet's pretty much straightforward with the crosses that you guys will be seeing along the way. The next thing that you guys should have that we want to look at, and we're going to kind of do this a couple pages at a time, go through a type of problem, let you guys do the next couple pages, and then keep working that way. So you guys have already gotten or should have seen the video on your introductory genetics and your basic monohybrid crosses, and that's what this packet is going to start with. So you guys should have this packet. It's just labeled genetics packet. It's probably the thick one that you have within the stack that you picked up. And we're going to look at the first page, and we're going to look at the first problem together because I kind of want to go through and reiterate the 5 steps that you guys absolutely must show and have on that packet for each of these problems. So the first problem is kind of already laid out for you guys, and this is how you should lay out all the rest of them, because you're not going to see from the second problem on, they're not going to be laid out, but we want to see the steps 1 through 5 that are there. So first step that we talked about is the key, and the key is always given to you guys within that particular problem. So here it's telling us about smooth pea pod plants and wrinkled pea pod plants. You could go back to the coloring, see which one is dominant and recessive, but we actually gave you guys a little bit of information. We said smooth is capital S, wrinkled is lowercase s, and what that means is that smooth is dominant over wrinkled. I'm not a big fan of S's because when I start writing them, they look all the same to me. If you're like me and you want to change those letters, go for it. So I could say, oh, smooth could be capital A and wrinkled could be lowercase a, or if you want to do B's or D's, something you could tell the difference between capital and lowercase letters. That's absolutely fine. So when I do that first step and I want to go through and write a key, I want to write the entire thing out. I'm going to say big A. What that represents is smooth. So if you remember, one big A is coming from mom, one big A is coming from dad. That's going to be smooth pea pods. I also have my heterozygous choice, big A, little a. That also is going to be smooth. I still have that dominant gene that's in there. If I do little a, that is now going to be my homozygous, 2 are the same, and it's recessive because it's lowercase a. So that is now going to be my wrinkled choice. My next step, I kind of want to go back to and look at my problem because I want to look at my parental cross, my P1 generation. What do my parents look like? And they'll flat out tell you, here it is. I have a heterozygous smooth pea pod plant. They could have just said heterozygous. Heterozygous is a mixture of it, so it's hybrid. So that's going to be my big A, little a choice. It's going to be crossed with a wrinkled pea pod plant. I don't have to tell you if it's dominant or recessive because I only have one choice for wrinkled, and that is my recessive choice. So I'm going to go with little a, little a. Yes, I need to see step 1. Yes, I need to see step 2. We prefer that you guys number them as well. Step number 3, Punnett square. This is the one that you guys should be familiar with. So you're doing your little box, your little tic-tac-toe board if you need to. And along the sides, one parent will go along the side, one parent goes across the top. I don't care who goes where. So if I want to put little a here, that's fine. I could have put them across the top if I wanted to, but my other parent, big A, little a, is going to go there. Now we just kind of drop in our letters. So this is going to drop down, he drops over. Always put your dominant trait first. So I have big A, little a. If I pull little a over, drop little a down, little a, drop down, pull over, big A, little a, and once again, little a, little a. These guys now are that F1 generation. Those are my possible offspring. I'm not saying, oh, I'm going to get exactly 4 offspring and they're exactly going to look like this. I'm saying these are my possibilities of what I could have. Genotypic ratio is step number 4. And with that genotypic ratio, I need you guys to write out all those choices that we had within our key. So my choices could be, they could be big A, they could be big A, they could be little a, little a. Go back to that F1 generation. What did I have? Big A, big A. I didn't have any. Big A, little a. I have 2 out of my 4, so I'm going to put 2. Little a, little a. I also have 2. Now I have to go look at my phenotypic ratio. Remember we said phenotypic ratio, physically, what do they look like? It's kind of like that photograph. So they could either be smooth or they could be wrinkled. So we said 2 of them are big A, little a, which means that they're smooth. 2 of them are little a, which means that they're wrinkled. So I have a 2-to-2 ratio. Could I go through and reduce it? Absolutely. So you could actually say I have a 1-to-1 ratio. You could actually reduce your genotype 2 and say 0, 1-to-1. Either way works with me. So as long as you have that, but make sure everything is kind of written out like this. Make sure that your steps are numbered along the way and all your information is there. So that is your regular old monohybrid cross, 1 trait at a time. You guys can continue number 2. You guys can also work on page 2 of that, and that also continues with the monohybrid crosses. After that, you guys will see more videos that will help you with the rest of the packet, and we'll kind of number the pages as you guys go through. So I hope that helps. Keep looking for the rest of the information on genetics. Thanks.